This is the last CSM update for CSM15 because in 2 days they will be announcing who serves as CSM16. I'm running, but whether I get in or not is still up in the air. So we'll find out in a couple of days. The 21st being the longest day, not just because of astronomical reasons, but because I have to wait for the bloody results. But I thought I'd do a real quick summary of CSM 15 and give you a bit of information before we go. It's been a rough one for the whole bloody planet, but CSM, we did not have a summit. Because of that, or two summits. Because of that, there never were any minutes released. So this was one of the least communicative CSMs that we've had in a long time. You weren't able to see what we were doing or if we were doing anything. You just had to take our word for it, and occasionally CCP's word for it. I understand CCP Rise put in a good word for us the other day, something about us being semi-professional. Because you couldn't see what was going on, you just saw some of the effects without knowing what was our fault or what wasn't our fault. What you never saw anything that we stopped that might have been worse. So, like I said, you were stuck with taking our word for it. And this is Eve. Who takes anybody's word for anything? Election results. It'll be interesting. CCP Rise has leaked a few little tidbits as teasers. Better turnout than last year. And I think he said somewhere along the line something about one vote making the difference between one person and another. And that'll be interesting to see. But at the end of this CSM, there are some things that we're still fighting about, still arguing about, still will be a lame duck for the next little while. That's a US term, I think. You can look it up. But we have things like we haven't had carrots. It feels like not just pandemic wise, but in the game, this has been a year of tightening the belt, almost of hardship and of having to do without. And Brisk and myself and several others, we've been asking, where are the carrots? Where's something we can give them and say, look, here's something great that we brought forward, and we just haven't seen the carrots yet. There's been rebalancing, but there hasn't been anything major to show for it. And in that regard, I'm sorry. If you feel that I'm responsible for the lack of carrots, then I apologize to you. I'm not, but I apologize anyways. We've had the changes to the cloak announced. We've had the nullification of warp core stab changes. And it's been interesting that there was a lot of complaint about how horrible it would be and it'd be a game ender. And yet the game is still going on. I think a lot of players tend to forget that the one thing we are the most is a resilient bunch of players. I mean, I swear they could make Titans have the armor value of a Rifter that's been polarized, and somehow somebody would still fly one and make it effective. That is not a suggestion to CCP. It is not a challenge. I don't want anyone going, challenge accepted. No. But we haven't had any communication between CCP and the players, and I've begged for this through the year, saying do a virtual fan fest, do a virtual, we didn't even have a virtual summit for the most part. We just had our weekly meetings, but we never had a cohesive single set of time to really hash things out for a day at a time. And there's stuff coming that we've seen towards the latter half of our CSM term that they tell us this is what we're planning, but it won't come out till Q whatever in the further in this year or even into next year. We've seen things, and there's stuff that I really hoped I get a chance to have a hand in, whether I'm on the CSM or not. There are some good times coming. There are some bad times coming. There's stuff that you're going to love. There's stuff that you're going to hate. But hey, like I said, this is Eve. I picked sunset to come out and do this, mainly because it's a nice time to have a beer. It's a nice time to chat with you. And the last thing I wanted to say, I said this would be really short. is I did want to thank you. The players who elected me last time, the players who may have voted for me this time. Even if I didn't get to go to Iceland this year, I had fun. I enjoyed working with CCP. I enjoyed working with the CSM. Almost all the CSM members made it to the end of the year. A few fell by the wayside near the end, but it was a really active CSM considering the hobbling that we had, the handicaps that we had. It was almost always respectful. The people I worked with were willing to work, were willing to explain things, were willing to talk. There wasn't any bitterness between us. Oh, there was occasional, little snipes and that sort of thing, but that's what you expect if you get any group of people together. If you've worked in any office, you've seen that with people who step in front of a gun for somebody else, but still they'll call them an asshat if they're being an asshat. I enjoyed it, and I just wanted to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on the CSM. I hope next year will be better. I hope no matter who gets elected for the CSM, I hope they pick up where we left off and continue on to do good things. I hope that you continue to play the game. If you're watching this and you don't play EVE, what the hell are you doing with your life? Of course, if you're watching this and you do play EVE, what the hell are you doing with your life? I hope what you're doing is having fun. I am. But I want to keep this really short, and hell, if I can keep it under 10 minutes, that's a win on everybody's side, my side and your side. I won't finish the beer before I stop talking. I don't think I'll finish anything before I stop talking. I'll keep talking forever. So, let's see. I have notes. I tend to write things down. I didn't bring the green book up. I went through it. I had about 50 things in my green book that I want to get done or were suggested to me over the space of this year. And tomorrow I'm going to, not tomorrow, but there's a transition time where the old CSM will sit in with the new CSM to hand off the reins, show what's going on, that sort of thing, give them time to hook up. And I am going to try to bat as many of the points in my book out as I possibly can in the time that remains. No promises. I really did want to go to Iceland to do the summit, try to tick off as many by finding the right person to talk to at the right time. But I'll see what I can do regardless. Some of them are little things. And I just want to deliver a few balls of yarn to the right person and see if I could talk her into programming some of them. I may have to just send a begging email over the next couple of days. I'm hoping the year to come has summits. I'm hoping it has fan fests. I hope there are live meetups. And if there are, and I manage to make it to any of them, feel free to join me for a beer or a rum or a margarita or whatever have you. Enjoy the game. Have a lovely time. And we'll find out whether I'm serving again next year in a couple of days. 07.